Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Check, okay, where we'll be talking about kingdom perspective on sustaining godly relationships and navigating our kingdom singleness. What's good, everybody? Happy 2025.
Yes. Happy 2025. Happy New Year. Merry
We have not
Christmas.
seen you. I know we haven't seen you guys. So the end of the year was a little crazy for us. And then a lot of our team was falling under the weather and all of those different changes. And New Year's felt different this year. It didn't feel like times past where New Year's was made such to be such a big deal. It seemed a little laid back the end of the year, very low key, so we did not have the end of the year show in December. And this is our first show of the year. January is like our month of rest when we come into a new year. So we came just on time too, y'all, because it's Valentine's Day week.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Do
So
you have a Valentine?
listen, if you guys got a Valentine's, drop that in the chat. You hear what I'm saying? And Erica O's policy when you come into the chat, into the Heart Check Sanctuary, drop your status.
Yes. You single?
Sing,
Team single or team me?
dating, courtships. What's up? What's
Yes.
going on?
Let us know.
So we can't wait to hear from you guys. And so let's see. We're going to talk about this week and we're going to talk about Valentine's Day. But before we get to that, right? Before we get to that, I want to know, how was it coming into the new year as a kingdom single, right?
Mm.
Because every end of the year, I kind of think about things and do planning and everything else. And I don't know about y'all, but every year I be declaring and decreeing this is going to be my last year single.
Shit, you better come on and say it.
You hear what I'm saying? And then I have my declarations and decrees list, and I write that out, and I'm like, God, I'm believing you. And even though it's December, I used to ask for a man under the Christmas tree, and I used to be like, God, I would love, you know, chocolate thunder under the Christmas tree. It would just be absolutely amazing. So how Erica, how was the end of the year for you? Or do you even think those things? Like, it's the end of a year, beginning of a new year. Does it feel like, oh, like I'm coming into another year, as a kingdom single, or I'm single still, or does that happen around birthdays, or does it happen in the beginning of the year? Because for me, it kind of happens for both.
I was gonna say for both, right? Another birthday, single, or sometimes you do have those potentials where you were dating, but it didn't really kind of amount to anything. So yeah, I mean, I do the same thing, like going to it, going to my new year, whatever I have decree. I remember Cindy Trim said something. She wrote out all the things that she wanted to accomplish in her life, and every whatever she accomplished, she removed it off the list. But
Mhm.
it rolled into the next year until it was done. So it's the same thing, right? Because just because I might not have found my husband in 2024, there's still things that God has done for me, and growth and everything. So yes, it's in there, but it's not something that I'm like, oh man, I'm single again. But sisters praying, right? Like,
Right.
husband, come forth.
Right.
Chocolate, come forth. Handsome, come forth. So I do pray about it, because God has promised it. So I want to make sure that I, as an ambassador, I am being very strategic in my prayers and praying and asking God, and even praying for my husband that I don't even know, right? Praying that he's in good health, praying that he has a good mind, praying that he's wealthy, he's all those things that I would pray if he was physically here. I begin to pray for him before I even know him, right? So the things I'm praying, when it comes, I'm gonna be like, this is what I was praying for. So yeah, so birthdays and New Year's, you kind of have that sentiment like, oh my God. But going into 2025, decreeing that this is my year, I'll find romance, and this is my year that I'll meet my person, or
Right.
we'll meet each other. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's really good. And I definitely do that with my decrees list and my declarations list. I do it every year, and I do rest in a promise. Before I received the promise, it was a strong desire of my heart. And I know that our desires really have to be vetted by God. And, I've desired to be married, and I've desired family and all of those things. And so I just believe by faith every year until I begin to get words about it or get confirmation about it and actually have something where I could be like tangibly, I know this is part of God's plan for me. And it just like every other prophetic word that we receive, we should be praying it through.
Yes.
To be expecting. What you said was good as far as being an ambassador. It is part of our responsibility to pray through the thing that we believe that God said, and what's been verified. So I think that's really good. I definitely go through it. I don't think I really go through it in the new year, but definitely at the birthday time, at the time of birthday. I really do think about it, and that leads us to, kind of like what this week is, right? So in the Heart Check Sanctuary, you guys got to drop it in chat. Do you have a Valentine?
Do you have a Valentine?
What's going on over there? I'll never forget that years ago I had a close friend of mine, and I was just talking. I was like, "Ooh, next Valentine's Day, I'll be booed up." And he was like, "You're absolutely not." And I was devastated. I don't think I talked to him for some days to weeks of that.
Oh no.
And I was like, wow. I was like, how do you know that? You ain't God.
Hello.
How dare you tell me? But y'all, he was right. And he was right because at that time, I was not, and we'll probably have to, I can feel this spilling into something else. We probably have to hit this fully another time. But at that time, I wasn't ready.
Right.
And I knew I wasn't ready. I knew that I was going to be at risk if God allows someone to come into my life, which is why he didn't. I would be at risk of idolatry.
Wow.
I would be at risk of making a man bigger in my heart and more priority than building my relationship with the Father.
Wow.
And because of that, we'll follow that word because I totally blocked out my friend after, saying to me, like, the next Valentine's Day, you're not going to be with anyone. Mind you, when he's saying this, it's like Valentine's Day the previous year. So that's why I really went in like, it's a whole year about to pass by. You trying to tell me that I'm not going to meet nobody in a year? But what I realized was that he said the other part of that was the Lord wants you for himself.
My God.
The Lord wants you for himself. And so it's not something I wanted to hear. I was very upset. And long and behold, the next Valentine's Day, I was definitely still by myself. And I was very frustrated, about that. And I think that it's going to be important that we sit in the sweet spot, right? There's a spot that I believe that God creates for us. It's like this little sweet spot where it's like the in-between. It's like I'm not in a place of desperation, which we shouldn't be dating if we are. I'm not in a place of like so deep longing that I've lost peace.
Yes, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm still aware that this is a desire of my heart.
Yes.
And I'm still praying this through, but I'm not at a deficit praying. And I've learned to call that the sweet spot. And whenever I try to get out of that spot, by trying to control my own time, saying, hey, I'm ready. So I'm about to do this. I'm ready. I'm going to take control over my own future, destiny, or whatever. Whenever I've done that, I've lost the grace of the sweet spot.
Right. That's good.
So that has been a big deal of me to just kind of rest there and understand that, I never really was one to feel like I have dealt with it because I felt like kingdom singles do deal with it, singles period, feeling like the less than sometimes, especially around times of now. And I'm one that loves love. So around this time now, I'm looking at TikTok videos. I'm looking at, Christmas time, all the matching pajamas.
All the matching outfits, right? With the daughter and the mother and the father and the son. Like,
hello. And wearing the same colors for you guys photo shoots.
You know what's so crazy is that even going into what you were saying, right? It's like I know some people, they get married young and they've been married young, and that is God ordained, right? That this person had to be married, right, at this age for them to fulfill certain things in their life. Then you have the singles, and I kind of fall in that category. It's some things that God wanted me to accomplish by myself before I kind of enter into this, union with someone. And, depending on who you are, like, understand. I remember somebody prophesied that to me, and I was angry a little bit in the inside, like, what you talking about, Willis? But then as I sat with the word and let it minister to my heart, I began to say, my goodness, where I was and when I wanted to be married, I would have been a shadow behind him and
Yeah.
not been able to even support him the way that I thought I could.
Right.
And I wouldn't have done half the things that I have done up until this day, because I was, like, I just want to be married. I want to be a wife. I want to be a mother. And that's it. That would have been it. Erica, mother, wife, period. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not what God had called me to, right? What he wanted me to do on this earth and where he wanted me to plow. Some of the things and some of the places that I go, if I was married, it was no way. You understand what I'm saying? Because you just can't pick up and be like, I'm going to Miami with my friends. How? You know, I'm going 3 trips in a year. How? Right? Some
That's
husbands
true.
will let that, but who knows? So even in that brings that also keeps that desire from getting out of control, right? Talking about what you said in that sweet spot,
Right.
because everybody has this thing where it's like they're cursed their singleness, right?
Yeah.
And singleness in itself is a blessing. I,
Yeah.
I mean, I talked to some of my friends and they got their kids, they got to make this. And listen, we had all night prayer on Friday, and one of my people from the church, his kids was up 6:30 in the morning. I, he
Right.
like, nah, I'm going to play with them and then go to sleep. No. So I'm thinking to myself, I can go out to breakfast with my friends, come back, take a shower, and go to bed and sleep until, if I wanted to, 6:30 a.m. the next day, with not a thought of who got to eat, who didn't eat, who's good, who's not good. So there's some perks to the singleness. I
Yeah.
think we harbor so much on being alone and lonely that we don't think about all the things that we can do without having to kind of go to your partner and say, hey, me and my girls want to do this, right? I could take a keynote. I could be like, I'm coming over today,
Right.
get going.
That's for
And
sure.
her being single too, I can go to her house. But if she's married, she got to ask her husband if
Right.
I can come, right?
Right.
So he probably be like, no, babe, we got plans. So I have to take a back seat. It goes both ways, right? So I
Right.
think both of them are a blessing. It's not a curse. And I want people to leave this week, even as entering Valentine's, celebrating just love, period.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whether I'm single, whether I'm in a courting stage dating somebody, whether they brought me a gift, just celebrating love, because God is love, but
Yeah.
not feeling the pressure of, because it's dangerous when you're desiring to be with somebody so much that you lower your standards and your worth just so that you can say, hey, I got Valentine this year, and you miserable.
Right.
That is
Right.
what I don't want. And that's why that desire, I keep myself in this sweet space, because there's safety, because a
Right.
heartbreak is a heartbreak. Okay.
Right. And that's really good because saying that about it being a curse, because getting something out of season, that very blessing can become a curse if it's
Yes.
not the proper timing. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And so that thing that was intended to be a blessing, is what I'm trying to say, it definitely can end up being a curse.
Yeah.
And we definitely don't want it out of season, because
No.
then now we're dealing with unnecessary pressure. And the truth is, at this place of singleness, it has been so enjoyable. It is very enjoyable. The fact that you can spend the time with God that you really want to spend, not having necessarily to answer anybody, to anyone, constantly doing check-ins or any of those things. But what I feel like all the singles have talked about over the years is like, what's on the side of our bed, right? Because I lay on the left side of my bed. On the right side of my bed is my Bible, my journal, my glasses, my study book, my like all of my things, my iPad, right? And
Holy
I've
Spirit.
had right. But
In paper form,
you know
pen
what I'm
form,
saying?
Bible form.
Like all of these things on the side of my bed, like,
Yeah.
that he rests there. And
Yeah.
I remember thinking too, we also want to make sure, and this just came to me, that we want to have balance and we want to make sure that we keep the love, because just like you said, focus on love, the love of the Father pure. And here's what I mean
Yeah.
by this. I've heard some people say that he's their husband.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That God's my husband. He's your daddy.
Mm-hmm.
He's your daddy. And I think that, we want to balance out, the sovereignty of God, the sacredness of the Father, the holiness of him, and not turn it to that, because I kind of felt like, it was an imbalance with it. Whenever I would hear it like that, it sounds a little imbalanced when I listen to the fullness of them saying, he's my man. You know what I'm saying? And I've heard, and I'm like, and actually somebody brought this up to me recently, and I was like, no, because I just said some, and that could be me too, just discerning past, to the heart of the person, but it sounds slightly perverted as
Yeah.
well. You know what I'm saying? Of the he's my man. No, I wouldn't
I
even.
feel like people use that as a way of not pursuing,
Yeah,
right? Or giving up in a sense. And Christ is married to the church, right? His
right,
bride is the church.
right,
N- Okay?
right,
So, right. So, and I get what they're saying, right? There's
right,
times where you have that intimate, that moment where it's just you and God. But if that was the case, then there would be no Eve, right?
right,
If that
right,
was the
right,
case, then there would be no need for God to say, man should not be alone,
right,
right? So why would he say that if he's walking in the cool of day with Adam?
right, right, right.
Because there was a sense of he needed a companion.
Companion. And my thing is too, like we said with Adam. So what do the men say? You get what I'm saying? If he's he's a woman, the woman said, that's my man. Then what are the men saying? You get what I'm saying? That is, it's not balanced. That's not balanced to me. And so, no, I think there's, that's why when I think about the Lord, I think about, the sovereignty, like my Abba, my Father,
Yeah,
and that is intimate. And that is
right.
vulnerable. And now that I think about it, maybe sometimes in the times that people have said that or used it, are using it in such a way that is so, um, like he's my man, and even the reverence of God, I feel like a lack of reverence sometime in that is like, the Lord's not your homeboy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not your homie. No, he's sovereign. And I'm thinking that it could be a possibility that there is a lack of possibly paternal presence, possibly a lack of fatherhood that would make it hard to see him only as Abba, to see him as father. That may be challenging, to see him as that, because like, oh, I'm not alone. God's my and I understand it too, trying to bring it in, you know, explaining where you are, kind of.
Yeah, the level of intimacy
you
that
know,
you
you know,
have.
with that, yeah, and almost kind of combating the I'm not alone.
Right. I mean,
Um,
we know that.
right.
The-
you know,
and it's not to say, right, because in the Bible this it does speak about the vow of singleness, right, of
right,
not getting married, right. I think Paul actually took that vow, but I have never seen him say, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not saying I'm no theologian, I just know a couple of things, right, but I have never seen him say that, oh, I'm married to Jesus, right.
right.
um,
Correct.
although he took that, and I know a few, is an African pastor. He's like 40 years old. First, the bomb.
Mm,
Apostle Salmon.
yeah.
He does not want to be married. He had
Mm,
taken a vow of what is it called? The word Lordy Jesus. Singleness. That's not the word,
mm.
but we're gonna use that because you gotta understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he has taken that vow, but it's to do the work of God, right? It's not I'm hiding behind it because I know a lot of people who don't want to be married, right? And
Right.
they have taken that vow of singleness. They have taken the vow of I don't want to share my life with somebody. I really just want to walk with God. But that's not to say that you guys had this wedding and now he your boo, your man, like
Right.
yeah, so I get exactly what you're saying in that regards, but there
Right.
is a vow of singleness, right, that you can
Right.
take unto God, that you will, submit your body, that no one would touch about it. This is like a temple unto God, and you're not sharing it with any other person, right? And that's fine, right, if that's the case. But I think in the sense of what you're saying, it's like, oh, God is my man, and you like, or like you said, what would the man say? Like, man, God, Jesus is my man.
Right. That's why that's why it's not balanced.
It's
And
not balanced. It
it's
sounds
not
crazy.
balanced. And that, yeah, that's no. And so yeah, I think that there's balance with that, but that just came to my spirit as we were kind of, fleshing this out.
That's good.
But
That was good.
you know what I'm saying? But it is, Valentine's Day week.
Yeah.
And Valentine's Day, this is around time. So some of my favorite movies. Let's do that for like 2 minutes.
Uh,
Some of my favorite love movies. Love Jones.
Okay. Okay.
Now Sugar.
Yes.
Love and Basketball.
Yes.
Um, I'm so trifling. I was about to say New Jack City. That's not a love story. Don't judge me, y'all. Don't judge me.
Okay.
Look, okay, let me match it. Bronx Tale.
All the people that died in that movie.
I pushed it. I pushed it. Okay. Let's see. Love story. Just right.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good
Oh,
one.
oh my gosh, y'all. Um, I can't say best man, no. No, those are not those types. What's some of your favorite love movies, girl?
I love You Got Mail.
I I don't think I've seen You Got Mail.
I love that whole and y'all gonna get me. I'm sorry. I promise you I'm saved. Pretty Woman.
Oh, I was gonna say don't say Pretty Woman. I was gonna say don't say Pretty Women. I I love Julia Roberts and I love Pretty Woman. I watch it every time it comes on.
Me too. Me too.
Because for all of that, Indecent Proposal. Sandra
Okay.
Bullock.
And um The Proposal, right, with Sandra Bullock and I think it's Ben Affleck in that.
Oh, I meant to say that, but The Proposal. I said Indecent
That
Proposal.
one is really cute.
That's
Yes.
what I love. I love it. I love The Proposal. I meant to say The Proposal, y'all, not Indecent Proposal.
What's my other one?
I feel like Indecent Proposal was Demi Moore.
I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll talk about that another time.
Yes.
Because I do.
I just love I love the ending. Like I could tell a movie, right? Boy meets girl, girl likes boy, boy loves girl. They get
Right.
together, boy do something to get on girls' nerves, girls running away, and then boy chase girl, and then,
I love it. I love it.
right?
I love
So
it. I love
yeah.
it. One of my favorite romantic Christmas movies is called The Flight Before Christmas. I seen it on
Mm,
Hallmark years ago by accident. Remember the TV show Blossom? We were
yes.
kind of younger. So she's one of the main characters, Blossom Russo.
Oh,
And she's one of the main characters, but she is hilarious. She's sarcastic, she's witty, and she's really funny. And The Flight Before Christmas, I don't even want to give it away and tell all the things that happened to it. But guys, look it up. It's on demand too. I don't know if they're still showing it, but they definitely, I had to find it because I missed it on TV. But I usually look for it every year, The Flight Before
wow.
Christmas. But it's really dope. So I love.
I do.
And
Me
I
too.
love love. But what's something I want to talk about, you guys, before we go today is Galentine's Day. How many of you guys have heard of Galentine's Day? Drop that in the chat if so. And what do you think about it? Have you heard of Galentine's Day? So I've heard of Galentine's. I have seen it, and I know it's related to Valentine's Day, but my assumption was it's for the girls because
Yeah.
it's a G, right? So I actually looked it up. So Galentine's Day is a holiday that was made that falls on actually February the 13th. Okay.
Mm,
And it's the celebrating the woman in your life.
yes.
Celebrating the woman in your life, right? It's not technically official, but it's served for girls and women everywhere.
Yeah.
And you do not have to be single in order to participate in
Right.
Galentine's.
Yes.
So that's amazing. So I was always heard of Galentine's Day, but I have never done it. I don't think. I think I've done a singles thing where it was a bunch of singles. We all hung out, but it was men and women, and so it wasn't called that. It was just like,
Mm,
oh, we're gonna hang out, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a bunch of us and everything else, which I'm totally fine with. I
right.
love
That's cool.
hanging with my Kingdom Singles crew. We have a great time together. And so I love us hanging out, whether we go, we have game nights or movies or whatever. I love us all hanging out together. That's really cool. So for Galentine's Day, have you ever experienced Galentine's?
Mm, wow. Me, yes. What did I just do this weekend? Lordy Lord. Oh, we did candle making.
Okay. So
So we
explain
had
that. Share what you said.
a Galentine's Day event on Saturday, and we made candles. So it was, I think, about 4 or 5 different scents, and you could mix them if you wanted to. And each scent, you had to create a name for your candle, and then also write what were you pouring in, right? Because you got to pour the wax into it. So you
Mhm.
kind of write out the things. So I named my candle Sweetness of Life, which I love,
Mm,
right? If the scent that I picked was called Moscato, so it was a sweet, fruity scent, which represents, newfound love, romance, sweetness, a new life, a new season. So I poured that all in, and we went around the room and we were talking, and every woman that was at the table was at a different stage of their life, and some was retiring, some was like going to a whole new sector. So it was and some people we knew and some people we didn't, right? So that was like you said, celebrating women.
right.
It was just so good because sometimes you get so wrapped up of um I mean, we didn't even talk about if we were single or not, which was so
I love that. I love that.
we
Yeah.
didn't bring up men or relationships. It was just for us to kind of dig in and go into where we were in life and where we wanted to be. And it was just such a refreshing moment of time to sit with women, encouraging women, and just celebrating one another, right?
Mhm.
We in a world where they're always making us competitive against each other. And for this moment, usually when you come into a room and it's a group of women that know each other in a group, it's like a section is broken off, and but we were talking to one another like, oh, that's nice. Let me smell it. Let me smell it. Let me smell it. Let me smell it. It was such a nice time.
Yeah.
So I'm all for Galentine. I saw some amazing pictures. People did like sleepovers, or they all wore red and took it. I mean, they going to town with this thing.
Yeah. I love that. And I've never done that, but it's something worth looking into. I love that. And I think that first of all, the candle making I adore because I love candles, burning candles throughout the house. I love those big house candles. I burn
Yes.
them every weekend. And so I love those candles. But to make candles, so about how many women were there?
It was about a good, I want to say maybe like 12, 13 women.
Okay.
And the candles are about 8 ounce, an eight
Mm,
ounce candle. But I never, what I loved about the event, right, was that I buy candles all the time,
right.
right? But I never envisioned someone making the candle and what they were perceived this would smell like and what they wanted you to feel like once you burn the candle, right?
Mm,
When you buy a candle, you smell it and you're like, oh, this feels summery. This is relaxing. These are the things you say off the bat, right?
right.
I'm sure when the person is mixing the scent, the color, and everything, they had that in mind, that, oh, when you smell this, what do you feel? So it was
Right.
kind of like the reverse. Like, when I burn this, what do I want to, like, what do I want to
Yeah.
feel? 'Cause they had like a lot of eucalyptus and this. No, I want something fruity. I want something fun. I want something celebrated to
Mm,
celebrate and this and that. So it just changed everything, right? And
right.
she said, what do you, the host was saying, what do you want to pour into your life? I said, you
Yeah.
better come on here. What you
Yeah.
talking? She said, what do you want to pour into your life? And when you burn it, what do you want to release in the atmosphere? I said,
Yeah.
girl, that's a whole preach. Stop it.
So that sounds like it was a lot of symbolism and it was growth, like almost
Yeah.
personal growth and development as something that was seen to be like, fun and festive had a deeper meaning. And,
Yes.
so that's amazing. Like, to say, how do you want to feel? What are you pouring into your life? And what do you want that kind of like the end result to be of what
Yeah.
you poured in,
Yeah.
into you? It makes us accountable, but I really hit like self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying? It does make you self-aware and it makes you accountable, intentionally think about a thing. And you had to think that through. And I like you said, each of you guys will like smell each other's candles, like, let me smell yours, let me smell yours, just kind of experiencing that. And also I love the fact that men was not talked about. I remember the episode of Living Singles years ago. Remember they went out and they were supposed to be talking about, they're supposed to be enjoying their singleness. And it was like a guru that was supposed to be, it was Regine and Max lied and said her name was somebody else. And then Regine caught her. And then so they ended up and it was like, oh, just love yourself, date yourself, and all
I
that.
think I remember that.
So Regine was like, I'm gonna read a book with myself. I've made dinner with myself. I have some chocolates with myself. And Max was like, I already went on a date with myself. My day over. And came over. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, I'm gonna be sick of myself. Okay. And so they ended up going out to dinner together, which is what they should have done in the first place.
Right.
Went to dinner together, but here's the thing. The caveat, it shows them having a nice dinner. And she was like, Regine tells Max, this is the best date that I've had in a long time, which is basically hanging out with her girl.
Wow.
A night with no men. And then after they go through this beautiful moment and they cheers, the lights go out and then the strippers come out. So they definitely was at a strip club. So it was like, I don't need a man, whatever. And you ain't have one with that. And so, and it was kind of ended in a funny way when Max was like waving her dollars in the air, but so it was like, oh, we had no men, but technically the fellas was around. And and I remember that growing up too. I think that when the girls get together, we do have more meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
As far as where we are in life and purpose and stuff like that. And we're not always talking about the fellas all the time.
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of my brothers in the faith today. And the Lord just told me while I was talking to him, the Lord just told me to share with him that he will have to pursue purpose in order to find his spouse.
Wow.
Because they have to find you while you're lifting so they can come in and carry the weight.
And be the helpmate. You gotta.
And they won't. I said, if you get somebody that doesn't understand the weight of what you carry, then because you weren't pursuing purpose, you were trying to pursue it after you got to them. You get what I'm saying? Then you'll mess around and they will be able to. Now here comes you changed. Now
Right.
You're not this and you're not that. You know what I'm saying? But you were in purpose. They got to meet you in purpose so they can feel the density of your call and the thing that you're called to do. So I never really quite heard it like that. But that's what, the Lord was telling me to share with him. And I was like, wow, let them find you in the pursuit.
Let them find you in the pursuit. Yeah.
Don't run from it. Let them find you in the pursuit.
That's good.
And let that be, so they can feel that. They got to lift that with you and not run from it. And that's how you'll know too, can they handle it? You don't want to get them, get all booed up, get all lovey-dovey, and then feel like, you know what? I don't think this is going to work after 6 months of bliss. I don't think we're going to make it.
Right.
I have this thing I have to be called to do. And what happens is if they can't understand the weight, you'll feel pulled.
Yeah.
You'll feel
and you got to make a decision of, am I doing this or am I doing that? And yeah.
And none of us ever want to be on the side of making us feel like we got to choose God or the person.
Okay, because it's a quick answer, okay? Not a thought. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm gonna go on the side with God. You going
Absolutely.
because I know
Absolutely.
this is certain. This still shaky.
Right.
I'm gonna need God.
Right. And I can't be messing with you like that.
Exactly.
You
I think
know?
sometimes people misunderstand the power of sisterhood,
Yeah.
um, the power of friendships. I have seen friends and we have friends that they get with somebody and child, you can't find them nowhere. And
Woo! Don't trigger
then
me.
and then and
Woo!
then when the smoke clear, you need to be want to be held up and prayed for. But even if you had that batch of sisterhood, um, we could have helped you along. You probably still have been with somebody, right? But I think it was funny. I think I was talking to you, and I was just like, I hate that saying, love is blind. I said, love is not blind, right? Desire is blinding, right? Because sometimes you're
Good.
so immersed in your desire that it blinds your eyes from all the red flags, all the everything. Like love is not blind, right? Because
Right.
God is love. He's not blind. He's
Yeah.
light, right? So that saying in itself is negative.
Right.
It's untrue. Desiring the desire, our selfish, I'm trying to find the word here. Our fleshly desire, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't align with the desire of God can be very blinding to us to the point where I have, and being at this big age, right, as we are now, and people that have gotten married in their 20s and 30s are coming out of these marriages, right?
Right.
Because they have this the desire of it was so much like I want to be married, I want to have my kids, I want to this, and then like, oh, he's not who what I want. Like, but I'm like, did he change? Or that's my question. Did he change? Or was he always like this?
He was.
Because
He was like this.
you know what I mean? Like, but is it that now that you're settling in life, you're realizing that this don't is insufficient?
Correct.
But it wasn't insufficient when you wanted what you wanted. You
Yes.
settled for it. And so
Right.
now the settling is not good anymore.
Right.
So, but then your girlfriends will tell you the truth, right?
Right.
They'll tell you like, sis, this ain't it for you. Like, I can see this going left. They are when you blind, they the ones that can see because it's hard to see when you in it, but when you look like it's just funny because your friends can be telling you something, they could be going through the same thing and they got so much suggestions. But the truth is it's easy to look outside of a thing and call it. But when you inside, you cannot call it because you cannot see. You too emotionally invested. So to those that, you know, and I get it. When you find a wife, a man and woman, y'all cleave to each other, all of those things, but you still need godly counsel, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Right? That doesn't negate that, right? But your friendship shouldn't override your marriage, vice versa, and all of those things. But you still need that godly counsel. And I think that the Galentine thing is really good because you have some beautiful loving women that are possibly singled, or just the love of friendship, right?
Right.
Just
Right.
celebrating that. With my is a time with me and my friend, and she's married and I'm not, we can get together and have a reason to be outside running the streets. It's
Right.
gas
Right.
time,
Right.
baby.
Yeah.
It's always a reason to get together and have a good time. So I love the friendship idea. I believe in my heart that God does not want us to be loners, right?
Right.
Sometimes we have seasons of walking alone, but if one can put 1,000 and two could put 10,000, baby,
Right.
come on here. We done intensified this 10 times more than what we can do together. So I love it. I
Yeah.
love the collaboration of it. I love the fun of it. I love it because when we were younger, we loved the sleepovers. We
Yeah,
love
we
the
did.
time doing each other's hair, laughing, watching. Me and Key would sit up there and be watching Lifetime all
Talking
day.
all
I'll come
night.
all the way to Virginia to sit
Yeah.
in the living room and watch TV.
Yes, it was so refreshing. It was refreshing. It fueled us. It strengthened us, that matters. And if you guys have any questions in the chat, you can go ahead and drop it. We will answer your questions on the next show. And I
Yeah.
already know what our next show gonna be about. Ooh, I
Ooh.
heard what Erica O was talking. Let's do an accountability check in the Heart Check Sanctuary. And let's talk about compromise versus settling.
Ooh. We
Let's
doing
talk
that
about
now or next
compromise.
time?
We're gonna do that next show, right?
Okay.
Because we're getting ready to wrap this up. And I want to say you can think about your closing remarks, Ian. I'm gonna do mines now when I just mentioned something that Erica O said that triggered me, which was
Oh Lordy.
when the saints get with somebody and forget all about your friends. Let me tell you something. I never liked it, did that. I never liked it, did that, even when I was in the world. I never liked it, did that. I think that's very whack. I'm sorry. I think it's very whack. And here's my thing. I feel like, the two become one. You
Yes.
do leave your parents, you create a new family. There's
Yeah.
oneness, there's unity, but let's have balance because and I heard this on a podcast show that blessed me because I didn't have words to articulate it, but it was talking about you still need your own individual life
Yeah.
because now it crosses over into, and this has happened to me in my previous relationships where they've been so into me because they didn't have friends. They've been so into me because they didn't have no life outside of me. I was put on a pedestal that was unfair. And now it was idolatry.
Right.
Now I'm an idol in their heart. And so then, you know what I'm saying? But that's also why you got to find somebody in the pursuit of purpose. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because you have to be living life and building life. I can see if neither one of you kind of had that when you started, but if somebody got
Right.
purpose and the other one don't, I suggest that somebody jump on and say, hey, let me go search or something. And you don't want to dead all your friends and then and mess up these other relationships by not being present. I used to have girlfriends back in the day. They used to bring their men everywhere with them and keep them on their hip. You can't do a girls' night or any of those things, just that suffocating situation. And then turned around when those relationships did not work. Hey, y'all, where y'all at? Busy. We was acting up. We were young. We were like, no, you want to leave us for John? Now, John, going, you want to hang with us, and we've been looking for you and checking for you and calling you and texting you. And it's not like we didn't give them space because we
Right.
did give them space and room, but we didn't know we were going to lose a friend. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We didn't know that. We didn't know we were going to lose a friend. So I think that that's a big deal. I think we need to have balance. And,
Balance. Yeah.
what I would say is, like in my last sentiments, is that I think that kingdom singles should really embrace our time of singleness and
Yeah.
not allow the world to dictate our timing of finding our person.
Yeah.
And so, in this week, guys, I would say to you guys, don't be moved by the post. Don't be moved by the pictures. Don't even be moved by your family members and or somebody and they saying in your ears. If you have an opportunity to do a Galentine's Day, then go ahead and hang out with your people. If you are able to go and even celebrate it by yourself, let's say you don't want to go out with the girls, and do something nice on your own. We have to learn how to be content and comfortable. I'm not talking about saying they're dating yourself, being okay with this period of being alone, knowing that the Lord is with you and that you're not defined by a day of the year. And it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you're any less and that you're not enough or any of those things that sometimes we try to lie and tell ourselves. That when you're believing God for a thing, you continue to pray it through. You believe God, but you rest in the trust that He's a God that hears and answers your prayers and knows what's best for you in proper timing. So I
Yeah.
pray for you. My prayer for you is that this Valentine's Day be one of new perspective as you
Yeah.
navigate this place of kingdom singleness. And I also pray, as with the beginning of this year, I declare that this be the year of the builder and the overflow. So that means pursue your purpose, sis. Pursue your purpose, bro. Do what God has told you to do, and He will make sure you're taken care of on the end.
Yes, yes. I stand 10 toes with that as well. And just be light about this season. I know that sometimes seasons come and holidays come and people get into this space, right? And if that's you, let this be the first year that you don't allow yourself to get into this run of, oh, I don't got nobody. It's another year. I'm single. Da da da. This and da 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 da. No, you know what? Put on a nice movie or go with your find a single friend and go hang out. Even some of your married friends will probably hang out with you on Valentine's Day because
Right.
your husband is probably working or something like that. Or if you have children, do something fun with them. Like do something that will not like don't bring on the spirit of loneliness. Don't bring
Yes.
on the spirit of depression and the heaviness. It's one day. We love each other every single day of the year, right?
Right.
So, buy somebody a Valentine's Day card or,
Yeah.
say, write a card to one of your friends or something like that. I would
Yeah.
just say, because I hate, I don't like when these days come. And I mean, I told Key asked me like if I'm a big Valentine's Day person. I'm really not, right? I don't really, I don't have to go out on Valentine's. I mean, I don't have to. Like, I don't want another teddy bear. Like I do, give me a gift, give me a gift, but I don't want the teddy bear and a box of chocolates, right?
Come
But
on.
it's nice to be thought of, right? My father used
Yes.
to always give me the small heart box of chocolate, and I only ate four of them in there, and the rest in the trash. But it was the thought that count, right? Cook a nice dinner. Cook yourself a nice dinner. Cook
Yeah.
yourself something favorite that you like to do. Drink your favorite drink or, something spend. And it's on Friday this year. Duke it out. Get dressed. Have you ever I'm going to put on my favorite pajamas. I'm going to put my movie on, get my popcorn, invite your girlfriend over, invite your homeboy over if y'all just friends, whatever the case is. But don't harbor on what is not.
Yeah.
Harbor on what is and what you have and celebrate life in that manner
Mm.
because every is a time and season for everything,
Yeah.
right? And celebrate the season because God can't even allow you to move out of one season until you kind of grasp what that season is about. Nobody is sowing seeds in the ground and crying like, "Oh, I ain't got no harvest."
So
No,
good.
you're gonna wait. You're gonna wait until you sow it, knowing that there will be a harvest,
Yes,
right?
that's good.
So you want to take that time and celebrating. Sometimes listen. I'll be sleep like, oh, I got this whole bed to myself. Thank you, Lord. You know, and enjoy the moment and enjoy.
Yeah.
If somebody else is crying, oh, if I just had one day in the hotel by myself, and
Right.
you
Right.
over here in your house by yourself, talk about I want to be with somebody, I don't want to be by myself, boy.
Yeah.
The human mind is something else.
Yeah.
So I would just say celebrate where you are.
Yeah.
You are beautiful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. God
Yeah.
did not make no mistake with you. When he
Yeah.
created you, he said, you are good. You
Yeah.
are good. And not worldly good. God saying you're good, that's
Yeah.
100 stamp approval.
Yeah.
So I think for this day, going into Valentine's Day, be lighthearted,
Yeah.
celebrate,
Yeah.
enjoy yourself, have a good time, and know that you're loved. We
Yeah.
love you.
We
Happy
love you.
Valentine's Day. I'll be your Valentine. Call me.
We love you. We do. Be kind to yourself, guys. Be kind to yourself. So this was entitled Galentine's Day or Nah. So now that we talked about it, how do you guys feel about it? Do you feel like this is something you may look into, something you may do? But we encourage you. We love you. We support you. We'll meet you back here next month, same day and time. Actually, Tuesday, March the 11th. 7 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be live. Make sure if you do have questions, leave in the chat. We'll be sure to address that next time around. We love you
Yes.
guys. God bless you.
Blessings. Happy Valentine's. Galentine.
Happy Galentine's.